Time out with Hello David, BHF Foundation YouTube channel. BHF Foundation YouTube channel is a channel where we give advice to our younger ones, advice that will make them great, advice that will make them take the right decisions. I've always said that life is a product of decisions. So whatever decisions you take now will determine how your life will be tomorrow. Because you are a victim, of the decisions that you take. That's why we do everything possible to give you the right information so you can be able to take whatever decisions you want. The decision is yours to take. But you will definitely be responsible for your decision. Always remember that. You and you alone will be responsible for whatever decisions that you take. That's why we try as much as possible to see that we are able to lay down the consequences of every action. Because there's always a consequence for every action. Every action you take has its consequence. So, but you must be aware of it so that when you are taking the decision, you must take it based on all available information. So when you begin to reap the consequences, you know that it's you alone that is reaping the consequences and not anybody else. And so that's why you need to be very careful, very, very careful. Once again, I want to say that when you begin to see what is happening regarding the news in Nigeria, the FCT minister, and Wike, and so on, the activists, we've seen a lot of information that he has brought out in the open, how Wike laundered money, allegedly now, and bought houses in Florida and other parts of America, which is against the law. We don't know whether it is true. But in a civilized society, in a society where things work, with a serious government who really wants to fight corruption, the first thing we can need to do is to resign so there can be an independent investigation if he actually bought those houses from the proceeds of crime. It's very, very important. Because which business was he doing before he came into government? And so where did he acquire those money that he used to buy mansions in Florida, mansions across America? How did the minister of the FCT acquire those properties? These are the things we are saying. Now, the reason why we are saying this thing is that every evening, Monday to Friday, we do everything possible to come on this channel to advise our youth on how to live a good life. And if we are trying to advise our youth on how to live a good life, and at the end of the day, those in government are being dubious, it becomes a very big challenge. How do you stop somebody who is doing Yahoo, internet fraud, when he sees that government officials are also stealing money with impunity? You go for government positions. The reason why you are going for that position is not because you want to serve the people. It's because you want to steal. And we have a lot of people, Nigerians now are going through hell. Hunger is everywhere. People are suffering. People are going through pain. The price of dollar has increased. I remember some couple of years ago, before this government came into place, a bag of rice was just 7,000 naira. Now a bag of rice is approaching 80 to 100,000 naira. 100,000 for a bag of rice. See the difference. Before this government came, they were buying fuel for 180, 200 naira per liter. Now they are buying fuel for almost 1,000 naira per liter. So when such things happen, you must expect that there's going to be the market will react. And that's the pain that people are going through now. They try to increase the minimum wage to 70,000 naira. The minimum wage of 70,000 naira cannot even buy a bag of rice. That's the tragedy of the Nigerian situation. Cannot even buy a bag of rice. So people are going through pain. People are suffering. And in the midst of this crisis, you begin to hear that government officials are buying houses in Florida, buying houses across the United States of America from the proceeds of crime. And such kind of news does not augur well. I pray it's not true. We pray that it's not true, because if it is true, then there's a problem. We should do everything possible not to move this country into a situation where the youth should begin to react. We see what is happening right now at the moment now, currently now, there's serious rioting taking place in Italy, in Milan, in Italy. And the way it is going now, it is spreading to other areas. The youth now, there are many things that the youth cannot take. We are doing everything on a daily basis to see how we can be able to bring up our youth. But there are many things that they will not take. I remember having a program some time ago, and a young boy looked at me and said, all these things you are talking about, violence is not good, violence is not this, violence is not that. It's all those things you are saying are old school, because if you are not violent, you cannot get what you want in this country. And now we are now moving to the things we take as young men, as young adults. They are not the kind of things that our children will take. The youth of the generation are not patient. And so this generation, I don't think there will be room for bad governance. There will be zero tolerance for failed politicians or bad governance. We can't have a situation where the politicians are busy buying the whole houses, buying houses and buying properties while the people that they are leading are selling it. So the question is, when are we going to have good governance? When are we going to have good governance? Because you begin to see evidence of corruption. Most of the properties you see now, they are owned by politicians. Most of the properties you see are owned by politicians. Politicians who just came into this country, politicians who just win election, most of them, they don't even win election, they rig themselves into government positions. And the next thing, they are buying properties everywhere. While the electorate, those who supposedly voted for them, are suffering. So what kind of example are we giving? What kind of example are we showing our youth? Is it because we must live by example? Because each place we go to have our youth program, our conferences, the question people will ask is that, look, I don't know what you are saying, but look at all the government officials. They are stealing money up and down. They are buying houses. They are buying this. They are buying this. Why people are suffering. So by the time you begin to tell them about living a good life, don't get yourself involved in crime, don't involve in violence, they should not riot, they should not do this, they begin to look at you as if you're a foolish person. But if we are able to have good governance, we will not be having this problem. It's the same thing that is happening. Look at, like I said, Europe now is in chaos. Look at what is happening in Italy. Look at what is happening in France now. France has been taken over because of young people who are shouting they want to recognize Palestinian state, and because the Prime Minister of Italy refused to recognize the Palestinian state, the youth went on the streets. That's an example of the kind of youth we have now. Is the kind of we now have the kind of youth that have zero tolerance to what they feel is not right. All over Europe now, go to London. The Islamists have taken over the streets shouting free Palestine, free Palestine. And these people are young people. Young people. And the youth in Nigerians are watching. They saw what happened in Nepal the other day. So it will get to a stage if care is not taken. That's why I fear for this country how some of us who don't have dual citizenship. We are just Nigerians. We can't leave this country. This is the only home that we have. We are worried. We are worried because we want to get good governance. And these people keep stealing and stealing and stealing. And they tell people, renew hope, be patient, all kinds. They just go with all kinds of slogans. And those slogans are rubbish slogans. Slogans are not working. That's why at times people begin to wonder about IMF and the rest. Because IMF will come and say, oh, you people are trying. The reforms are working. Your people are, because they are not staying here. They stay in their comfort. They stay in their comfort in Europe and America, enjoying themselves, and they come here, they feel that Africans are fools. Most of this money that are laundered, are stolen, where are they taking? Like I said, we pray that everything that Sowore was saying, even though he brought out evidence to prove it, we pray it's not correct. Because if it is correct, it's painful. It's painful that you'll be in Nigeria with your family, with your children, you are suffering, while somebody, because he was a governor, because he's now a minister, is just buying properties around the world. And you begin to ask yourself, what kind of thing is this? Will all of us be governors? Will all of us be ministers? It's not about coming to the TV, whole press conference, whole press this, party, and begin to tell all kinds of stories. We don't even know the one that is correct anymore. Like I said, if all the evidence and documents that is being produced by Sowore is correct, then it's going to cause a lot of problems, especially among the youths, because the youths are becoming impatient. Like I said, we've discussed with a lot of youths, and I've seen their reaction. They have said a lot of things. They will tell us, look, all this thing you are saying is, oh, we are waiting. That day will come. That day will come. Which day? I asked them, which day are you talking about? Because violence will practically not pay anybody. It will not pay the electorate. It will not pay those in government. We need peace, and for we to have that peace, we need to have some semblance of governance that is working. We must begin to see that the government is working. The kind of news you hear every time from government is how people steal billions and nothing is done about it. Nothing. Nobody is arrested. Nobody is dealt with. We have an EFCC. We don't even know how the EFCC is working. The only thing we know about the EFCC is that they are pursuing Yahoo boys. Apart from pursuing Yahoo boys, we don't know whether EFCC is even existing. Because how many people have been? Most of these people were governors before. Now they are no more governors. Do they still have immunity? They don't have immunity. We have situations where governors, people that were governors before, they still fight. They want to control the resources of the state. I mean, this thing is not right. But how long are we going to continue to tolerate this kind of madness? How long? And my fear is that we'll get to a situation where Nigerians will say enough is enough. Where people will rise up and say, we have taken enough. We don't think we can take more than this. And so one of the things I want to say is that our leaders must begin to live by example. We must live by example. If you talk about renew hope and live this and live, we must see it in you. You cannot be gallivanting around the world and living good life. Your family is booking this. Now we saw the information also that was released that the houses were bought and transferred to the children's name, blah 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 blah, to transfer to the children and the wife's name. And if those things are correct, then what is that guy still doing? Does he have immunity? Like I said, I pray it's not correct. Then what is he doing in the corridor of government? Then if his presence alone in the corridor of government goes to show that if it is true, then there's something wrong if that guy is still there. It shows that the whole government is fraudulent. We need to get the facts straight. We expect situations where there's going to be a press release, there's going to be a press conference where somebody will be able to come out and say, no, this thing they are saying is wrong, this is saying is this. There must be a press conference trying to rebuff everything that Shore is saying that is not correct. Because the evidence are so much. The evidence are so real. And you see these things, you begin to wonder, where is Nigeria going? When you begin to see these things, you begin to wonder, this kind of leadership are we facing? Nigerians have been pushed to the wall. Like somebody said, in other countries, when you push them to the wall, they will react. But Nigeria, when you push them to the wall, they break the wall so that they can pass through. But the question is that you must always remember that there will be a time where people will be able to say enough is enough. And we are getting closer to that period. And I'm worried. I'm worried because we are not, like I said, we don't have any other nation apart from Nigeria. It's a youth organization, and we are doing everything possible to pacify our youth, to pass message to our youth so that they can be able to live a responsible life. But what we are getting from our leaders is very painful and very shameful. You don't hear any reasonable news. The other day I saw somebody on TV, it's a political appointee, coming to say that there's no hunger in Nigeria, there's no suffering in Nigeria. And I begin to wonder whether this person is normal. Are these people not normal? Or immediately they just get government positions, they become abnormal in Nigeria. Because some of the people that are in government today, they were once in the opposition. And they were condemning the hunger that people were going through. Then it was not like this. I said before that APC came into power, we were buying a bag of rice for 7,000 naira. Now, instead of addressing what Nigerians are going through, you have people who are bullies. They will be shouting, they're doing the use police, DSS, all to harass people. It's not about harassing people. It's about getting it right. People are going through hell. People are suffering. I know what I'm talking about because I stay in Nigeria. I talk to people here. I know what is going on. I know the cost of things. People used to travel around, go to Dubai, they'll buy this. Now they can't even. How much do you want to buy tickets? Where is the money? And things keep increasing. They're talking about tax. Okay, who do you want to tax? You want to tax the poor people? You want to tax the people that are suffering? Is that what you think? Is that the best way out? You must create jobs. There must be a lot of jobs. Unemployment was reduced. Inflation should go down. Then you begin to talk about tax. You don't begin to tax hungry people. You don't begin to tax suffering people. You don't begin to tax poor people who don't have anything. So there'll be more money for politicians to steal. So you begin to ask yourself, what do these people, are they in reality? Are they real at all? Do they really know what people are going through? And I don't think so, because I believe so much that the president is not told. That's why we'll talk like this, we talk outside. So at least somebody can be able to pass the information to the president, so the president will be aware of what is going on. Because when I listen to this government appointee talking on TV, and he was talking, I know this, there's no suffering, I begin to wonder, are these people normal at all? Because these are the kind of people that will still go to the president and begin to tell the president lie when people are suffering, when people are going through hell. What we need is good governance. And I know, like I said, in one of our programs here, I said, what is going on now, I have 100% confidence, belief, and assurance that President Tinubu is not aware. Because for the past over 30 years now, President Tinubu has been fighting for the common man. I grew up as a young boy, seeing what, right from this 1993 and the rest, during the Ebola crisis, I grew up noticing what Tinubu did, fighting for the past 30 years. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been fighting for the poor man. Now he's the president. Is he going to make the people poorer? And I said something, I said, if President Tinubu cannot get it right, forget about Nigeria. If a man that has spent 30 years fighting for the poor men in Nigeria cannot get it right when he's now the president, then there's no hope for this country. It's not about opposition. I saw those that are in the opposition. And I just look at them. I don't even take the opposition serious. When I say opposition, I mean ADC and the rest. Except they want to bring something new. Because among all those in the opposition today, in ADC or Labour Party, the only person I know that will be able to make a little bit of change is just Peter Obi. If not, it's not Atiku. Atiku to be president to do what? These people have been there. If I was the governor of Kaduna State, let's look at the records. When he was governor of Kaduna State, what did he do? Everybody knows that he's a religious bigot. Everybody knows that he makes life uncomfortable for the Christians that are in that state. Everybody knows that these are Boko Haram sympathizers. And we see what is happening. They are making peace deal with bandits. Just like almost the same thing that Buhari did when they saw Agbada for bandits to be dancing. These bandits have killed people. But at the same time, you have Nnamdi Kanu, who has been in prison for a very long time now. And you ask yourself, what did Nnamdi Kanu did that they cannot have a peace deal with him? But they were going for peace deal. Peace deal with killers. Those who have shed blood, kill people, displace homes, make children orphans, make women widows. They are making peace deal with them after they have killed. What are we trying to introduce? What are we trying to encourage? That violence pays? As I say, each time we get confused because you spend time, you spend data, you spend energy trying to build up the youths. But the response from those who are in government is appalling. It makes you confused. A holding peace deal with the bandits after they've killed and collected money. So what we are saying right now is banditry is a good business. Kidnapping is a good business. When you have kidnapped and you have stolen enough money, you can go for peace deal. Very soon we'll be doing peace deal with armed robbers, peace deal with killers, peace deal with hired assassins, peace deal with murderers. What kind of government do we have? What is going on? I see these things and I get worried. I ask myself, in 1993-94, we had the opportunity to leave this country. Most of my friends left. But some of us stayed behind because we still believed in Nigeria. And seeing what is happening now, one begins to regret. Every day I live in regret. I say, if I had known, I would have left this country. Because At this level now, with children and wife and the rest, will I be thinking about leaving this country? How do are you going to live with your whole family and go and settle down there outside this country with your entire family? Are you going to run away and leave your family alone? These are the things we are looking at. These are the things that that's getting us disturbed. And we don't want to sound frustrated. So that the youth we are trying to build up will not look frustrated. We've had so much bad governance in this country. People have suffered too much. And I can see the handwriting on the wall that is going to go to a time where there will be reaction. For every action in science, they say there's an equal and opposite reaction. The alleged case of Wike, like I said, I pray that it's not true. But if it is true that Wike has laundered so much money to America and bought properties in the name of his wife and children, and the wife is even a judge in Nigeria, she's an American citizen, then we're able to say that we have the leaders we are having now, they're just playing with us. They're playing with Nigerians. They're making a fool of this country. And we are praying that we don't find ourselves in the Nepal situation or some Edo situation before the politicians sit down and help us build a good country. There are many of us that don't want to leave. We believe Nigeria can still work. Nigeria can still work. If only our leaders make up their mind for Nigeria to work. Nigeria can still work. Okay, you ask yourself, since they remove the oil subsidy, what have they done with the money? You can't speak. You can't say it. Oh, they've increased money. They increase it now. The governors have a lot of money. So the question is that we already know who the governors, some of these governors are. When people are looting, you're increasing the money. What are you doing? You're increasing the looting. Those who are looting billions before, now they have increased their money now so they can loot and loot and loot and loot and loot and loot. Because we are not feeling the effect of the increase of the removal of subsidy. No single effect. Instead, they are making life difficult for people. NEPA has increased. You buy light before you know what's happening, it's finished. Your business, everything has increased. Taxes have increased. Now I say by next year, you have tax. So you cannot open an account. You begin to ask yourself, which kind of people is this? We're not giving good news that by next year, the price of things have gone down, the dollar is now okay, blah, blah, blah. It makes sense. Reasonable things that will help the people. Now to gather money that people can thief, people can steal. That is not leadership. You want to tax people to their debts? You want to tax people to their debts. And the reason why we have this kind of things that is going on right now is because we have a failed electoral system. People know that they can manipulate themselves and to remain in government. So they don't care about the people. That's why we're having this kind of leadership across the states in Nigeria. So our leaders today, as I begin to round up, sorry for starting late. We came out very, very late because we are trying to put one or two things in order. But today, we're talking about leadership by example. Our leaders should show good example. You want to stop Yahoo boys when those in government are stealing more than Yahoo boys. Because it is right now, the FCC is set up strictly for Yahoo. Because all the former governors that have stolen money, they are free. You steal money, you are accused of stealing. There was one of the states, the North Central state, that was accused of stealing billions. And I remember then the FCC chairman said if he doesn't prosecute this, he's going to resign, he vowed with his life that he must do this, he must do this, he must do this. Now the guy is out. You continue to postpone and postpone. That's the system. Because the politicians and the judiciary, they are working hand in hand to put the citizens of Nigeria in pain. The judiciary and the politicians are partners in destroying this country. May God help Nigeria. May God give Nigeria good leadership. Take good care of yourself until we meet again tomorrow.